Welcome back to another Sebastian story. I'm here with my sweet boy. He's a Cane Corso Italiano, and we rescued him about 1.5 years ago, and we've been working to rehabilitate. He had an injured paw, and unfortunately that was a result of abuse, and that will be the subject of our story today, is 5 different ways that you can help your animal to feel more at home. You have a rescued animal that may have been in an abusive environment before, and these are just some suggestions and things that I've found that have really helped Sebastian adapt to his new home, his forever home. One of the most common ways that Sebastian unfortunately still exhibits whatever it was that he had experienced. If I bring in the mail, he sees the newspaper, anything, he still runs from it. He's still scared of it. He is afraid that he's going to get smacked with it. He has never been smacked by me, and he never will be smacked by me. But unfortunately, even after this much time, the 6 months of his life, of whatever he had experienced before, it's still with him. It's still there, and it's still something that we have to help him to cope with. And I'm not demonstrating this on video for you. I don't want to repeat, unfortunately, what he has to go through. But I've been able to learn to get him to be like, no, it's okay, come here, sniff it. If he gets his nose involved and he realizes it's not a threat to him, he's much calmer and he's okay. And then I can proceed to walk with something in my hand and he isn't terrified even of me. And it's become true of meeting anyone, particularly men, that if they approach him with anything in their hands, whether he knows them or not, he will be scared and not want to approach. And it's hard to keep him socialized if he's not willing to meet new people simply because they're carrying, a clipboard or whatever it is they've got in their hands. So we've been working with him on that, and hopefully someday he'll overcome that fear, but at least at a little over 2 years of age here, Sebastian just has not reached that point. So we have to be very mindful and very respectful of his needs, that we always make sure he's feeling safe and comfortable, even with us, his family. And one thing that can be common with any animal, despite, regardless of what they may have ever been through, food aggression. If that animal has ever been in an environment where food was not readily available, or that they actually had to fight for their ability to nourish themselves, that's obviously not a trait that you would want to continue with bringing that animal into your home. So we've always made sure that Sebastian's very respectful when it's feeding time. We started out making sure that he would sit, sometimes shake, not always, but not so much that he needs to do tricks to be able to get his meal, but that he understands that this is his, no one's going to take it, but that he does need to be respectful and never demand food. We try not to give him handouts, and that's a big key of it, is that you don't just anything that you're eating you give to your animal. That's a big no-no. Aside from their health issues and digestive issues that may result from eating people food, he's on a very specific formulated diet to encourage his growth. Being such a large breed, we want him to enjoy that wonderful food and preferably nothing else. He does love carrots, but that's a little side item that we do get to enjoy with him. But food aggression is something to be very mindful of, especially with abused animals, that it's something you have to be very careful with, very slow with, and very gentle. There's a lot there, he's a big scary animal to some people because he's a Cane Corso, he's a big dog, but what he's been through has still made him a soft soul, and we need to, I know, sweet boy, and we need to ensure that he's always happy and feeling confident and comfortable, knowing that he will always get his meals. He does not need to jump through hoops to be able to earn the right to eat those meals, but that he should never, ever show teeth or growl or be aggressive to any other animal in the home, or especially his family, his people. And one other thing with bringing in a formerly abused animal into your home, a sensitivity to noise. If you have a loud home, if you have a tendency to yell in your home, those are big no-nos when bringing in an animal that has come from a traumatic past. You have to be gentle, you have to be kind, you have to be loving, and it brings out just this biggest, happiest, flappy pappy you can imagine. It's all in having a little bit of patience and a little bit of care to really ensure that this animal learns that its forever home is going to be one that he or she can trust to always be most concerned with his welfare, and not that we're making sure that he is 100% obedient to the point that he fears us. We don't use shock collars. We don't use any other sort of abusive training devices to encourage his obedience. It's love and it's endless patience. It is endless patience with him. Part of that is his breed. Cane Corso is very slow to mature and very slow to trust. It's really an earned aspect that you have to develop with your animal. And he knows that I'm not ever going to just go off and start yelling at him for no reason. If I have to raise my voice, it's because he isn't listening. But never will I just start berating him for no good reason. I don't understand why that even needs to be said, but unfortunately we live in a world where it does. Another aspect with bringing in an abused animal into your home is the touching, the physical contact. I've been picking him up and holding him since he came home. He is just the sweetest thing ever. You just have to love him, and he needs to know that these hands are here to hold him and love him and protect him, and never, ever to abuse him. And unfortunately for a lot of animals out there, that can really take a lot of time. Sebastian took to us immediately, which was wonderful, but there's a lot of sweet pappies out there that really need a lot of extra patience and time and care to make sure that they realize that this is a loving forever home for them, and that whatever they had gone through before will never return. And he knows that. Don't you? You're a big sweet pappy. Yeah, I love you, buddy. I think he's pretty happy. I think he's taken in. Yeah, you got it? Oh, I love you too. Oh, my sweetie boy. You're such a good boy, Sebastian. And that actually brings us to our final point, is reassurance. You need to be reassuring to your animal in the way you speak to them, in the way you interact with them, that, again, this is your home. This is the place where you will be able to grow and live out your life, and you will never have to experience whatever trauma you have in your past. It's in the past, and it's never to return, and I do that with the physical touching and petting and rubbing his ears. Of course, he's a puppy. He loves having his ears rubbed. But it's just all of these little things that you may not even consider, that they really mean a lot to that animal. It doesn't speak whatever language it is that you speak. You need to be able to demonstrate in a variety of ways in your approach, in the speed that you walk, in the speed with which you approach them, the way that you approach them. All of these things really come together to ensure that your animal can overcome whatever it had gone through before and live just the happiest life it possibly can in your loving environment. As always, thank you so very much for watching. We're having a great time telling these stories, and we'll be back again soon with more. Thanks again.